Hello friends. I'm gonna wait a minute or so. Just jumped on a couple of minutes early for the 8 o'clock session tonight. Hopefully you can join me for a cup of tea. Hello beautifuls, whoever you are. Just seen a couple of people have jumped on. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me tonight. Super grateful. Jumped on a little bit early just to have a little cup of tea with anyone who wants to have a cup of tea. Oh, so nice, so yummy. Hello, hi friends. Thanks for jumping in. Let me know where you're tuning in from, which part of Australia you're coming in from, or maybe you're overseas. Got lots of people that jump onto these sessions from overseas. We've got lots of practitioners, not lots actually, but some practitioners in this group are also from overseas. Beautiful, thanks so much friends. All right, we are bang on 8, so I'm going to get cranking so that also for the people watching the replay we'll get straight into it. I can't see any comments coming through, but hopefully you guys are there. Just do a little double check on here on my little phone. All right. Okay. So welcome this evening to the chat. Hey, thanks Olivia, Melbourne. Me too, baby girl. Me too. Thank you so much for those of you who've jumped on tonight live, or if you're watching the replay. My name's Alicia Jume Temmerman. I'm the founder of this group, Thrive, which was set up during the start of what it was lockdown for Melbourne to really create a community of women to help support other women to get through everything that we're going through at the moment, and to have these online classes in body, mind and spirit. Hey Pauline, thank you for jumping in from Sydney. So the topic tonight is the way to inner peace. Hey Kylie, hey beautiful girl. So this is a big topic in terms of we could kind of talk forever about it. So in the short time that I have with you, I will try and share as many things as I can with you in the hope that they will resonate and will be of assistance. But as I always say in my sessions, that be your own scientist. Never just accept everything that people share with us as the truth. We each need to obviously find our own things, our own truth, our own resonance. So I can just share with you what I know deeply within my being from the experiences that I have had so far in my almost 44 years on this planet, in terms of the interaction between this world, the physical world that we see, and other dimensions that are also existing as I understand them to be. So those of you who don't know my background, I am a channeler, so I communicate with ascended masters, guides, angels, other energetic beings who are not currently in bodily form, and they share with me regularly messages and information that has brought me so much inner peace. So I'll try and share as much as I can with you all. So we're living on a time in this human planet where we have more luxuries than any generation before us. We've got fridges and electricity and running water and boiling water. Woohoo, Rhonda from NZ. Hello, beautiful, welcome. Yet, what do we find ourselves in? We find ourselves living on a planet with the highest levels of depression and anxiety and disconnectedness and loneliness. So many people are deeply, deeply lonely. Hey Ange, also from NZ. Nice to see you, gorgeous. So we've got this kind of paradox where we've got everything maybe we've ever wanted as a race in so many ways, but yet this internal lack, this internal yearning for connectivity is something that is really struggling on our planet today. Happiness is not the way to inner peace. I just want to share that as my first message. If you are in search of happiness, if you are seeking happiness and trying to get happier, be happy, happy, happy all the time, that, in my view, is not the way to inner peace, because happiness is fleeting. And I'm sure all of you have experienced times where you feel an abundance of happiness. But I ask you to reflect upon, how long has that lasted for you? 1 hour, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks? We get these bursts where we feel like everything's lining up and everything's going well for us, and oh my goodness, this is fabulous, I'm so excited. And then what happens? Because we are in earth school, like crash, bang, this, that, bing, 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 right? This is life on this planet, ups and downs, and I commend you and I honor you for taking the journey to earth school, because it is not an easy school to be on, and the lessons are big and strong and full on at times. But when we're seeking happiness as the goal, inevitably we will find ourselves frustrated. We'll find ourselves coming up short, because we can't hang on to that impermanence, those feelings of contentment, when we're trying to gain our happiness from these external things. They will be fleeting. And when we get into this trap of seeking this sense of fulfillment through the external, that will never work. Again, it will be like a little bit of joy, a little bit of pleasure that we might feel, but nothing compared to the true bliss, the true joy of connecting with inner peace, which is like, we can't even imagine anything close to it from an external experience on this planet, in my view. But we can get into this trap, right, on this planet, where we think, okay, once I get married, I'm going to be happy. Once I find my man who's going to fulfill me and complete me and Jerry Maguire me, I'll be happy. When I have my baby, I'll be happy. Or when I have 2 babies, I'll be happy. Or 3 babies, I'll be happy. Or for me and my husband, when we've had our 4th baby, then we'll be happy. Or when I run the marathon, when I get the master's degree, when I get this and the promotion and this and this and this, when I achieve or I get this, then I'll have that feeling, that deep within me of contentment. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The goal I would suggest for you, rather than seeking happiness, is liberation. To seek liberation of one's mind. And this is not an easy task, particularly on this planet. So how do we do this? This capacity to be able to be very aware, and I'm still a student of this. I'm not sitting here saying like I've totally mastered all this stuff. I'm not. I'm totally in the trenches on the daily doing the work. So it's around bringing the awareness to our reactions, to our responses, to living consciously, being a spirit, a living spirit, although we are in human form, associating more with our divinity and that part of our true nature, and starting to really liberate our mind, purify our mind by being very conscious around the thoughts that we allow to inhabit our world, our chemistry, our body, our biology. Thoughts matter, they are energy. I've done lots of different talks into this group on energy, so I'm not going to go there now because I'll get myself too down on a tangent. But really starting to bring this conscious awareness to deeply connecting in with the present and all aspects of our lives, to find meaning in those things, even in the depths of our despair and the suffering that will be inevitable on this planet. We kind of think we're just living and we're never going to die and no one else around us is going to die, and we just get all shocked when people get ill and people die on this planet. And of course we do, because we love people deeply. But the reality is 100% of your family and friends, 100% of my family and friends, 100% of us on this call, on this session, we will die. This body will die. So it's this fine balance of enjoying life, finding the meaning in things, the things that we think are good or bad, when in fact nothing is good or bad. We just are experiencing different things in this life, in this particular physical body that we have this incarnation this time round, but also not becoming so attached to things, not clinging to things so desperately, whether it's clinging to our youth or clinging to our career or clinging to our children or our relationships or our past or whatever it is. Being able to really flow as life unfolds minute by minute by minute, without grabbing and clinging and attaching to all of these things. Forgiveness is the way to inner peace. Forgiveness. So there's no surprises that every religion that I believe is on this planet has this as a key tenet. Religion talks about, forgiveness is part of all of the different, and through the mystics and the ages and all of those things. And this can be a really hard thing for us to do on this planet, because we can feel injustices and we can feel that we've been wronged or that there's been atrocities, and how can this happen? And I get it. I became a lawyer for that reason. I watched the movie The Accused. I don't know if you've seen that movie with Jodie Foster where she gets gang raped, and I was like, that just lit something in me. It's like, I have to be a lawyer and have to sort this out. I understand that ego part of us that wants justice. However, forgiving, that is when the tapestry of our energetic universe, when we forgive things, when people have trespassed us, but we are able to pull upon from us that frequency, that energy of that vibration of forgiveness, and send that out, ripple that out into the world. That has an incredibly significant healing impact on our entire matrix or tapestry of the universe, in which everything is interconnected and everything is one. And almost like the bigger the atrocity, then the forgiveness for that just sends out more and more waves. So what a beautiful thing it is that a human who may have experienced devastation, but despite that, they're able to pull upon their hope, and they're able to bring forth that sense of divinity within themselves and spread that out to the person that has potentially trespassed against them. Forgiveness is not condoning. It is not saying, yes, that's fine, you can come and, chop my arms off, or I'm just like going to be this, just give myself over to you. It's not that. It's not approving. It's not saying what they did was okay. But what forgiveness does is it recognizes that divinity, that which is in all of us. It recognizes that in the other person, and it recognizes that person does not know what they are doing at their ultimate level, at their true level, at their higher self level. They have lost their way, and they have separated themselves so far from their truth, which is pure love, that then they've engaged in actions that are consistent with who they are. But when you forgive them, you are remembering who they are, despite that they have forgotten. And the forgiveness also for ourselves, forgiving ourselves, is so powerful to bring that love and compassion to ourselves. So forgiveness, we could do a whole session on forgiveness. So I'm just going to kind of like skirt through the tops of the key things to share with you. So another way to inner peace is, I've already touched on it, is really through life, through the unfolding of life, day by day. And we have this choice. We can either lean into that human part of us, that ego part of us that wants to get caught up in the drama, and oh my God, and she said that, and he did that, and can you believe it, and the gossip and all that stuff. We can do that, and we limit ourselves. We limit our capacity to really have a depth of experience on this planet when we're just kind of at that human ego level. Rather, when we lean into this divinity within us, the divinity within us, the divine that is absolutely in every single human. We were not allowed to come to earth unless that connectivity was there of the divinity, and our role is to plug it in and connect us back to our source, which is available to us at all times. And the messages that always are coming through from my guides is that we are magnificent, energetic, spiritual beings. We appear to be in this form, although quantum physics is now showing us that 99.9% of us is in fact not solid. We are just these waves of energy and vibration of energy, and we just are in this form that we appear to be individualized. But when you heat us up, and they gave me an analogy where they said it's like, imagine like a block of chocolate, and each square looks like it's an individual square, but you warm that chocolate up. For us, we increase our energy vibration, and then we start to melt in together where we're all this like delicious sea of energy. So living on this planet is messy. It can be frustrating. I mean, I know for me in a house of 4 kids, like there's not a day where I don't get frustrated, right? It's just life, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and all of the things that come. But what we can sometimes think is, okay, I can't, focus on myself and my growth or my inner work, which we'll talk about, because I've got too much else going on, right? I've got my kids and my job, and I've got all of these kind of things, and we think, I'll park that, I'll do it later, we'll do it later. But we forget to realize that actually all those things that we think are a distraction to our inner work, they are our inner work. They are our ability to do our inner work in the reality of our life. So for example, with your kids, with our kids, if you're a mum, or with your dogs, or with your co-workers, whatever it is. So whenever they are like against you, like you're starting to get a bit right? So these are the opportunities in the trenches, the daily opportunities to practice this conscious living, to choose to come from love. What would love do in this situation? To take that breath, that gap between the reaction and so we bring our awareness before we just bang react, or we yell out, or we whatever it is. So this is the opportunity for us to practice, and we've all been given all of these learning opportunities. So the people that drive you the craziest, maybe the biggest gifts for you, they may have signed on to be annoying to you in life for you to help you to learn whatever particular thing that you've maybe signed up to learn on this planet in your little blueprint. So these relationships are spiritual adventures, and when we see it that way, it's different. The meaning we give it is different. This is living. Life is never on this planet going to be the fairy tale that we've been sold by Disney. And we kind of get disappointed when things aren't all going our way and we're not getting red lights everywhere. So just allowing to really sit back into the saddle of life, knowing that you are safe, ultimately safe. That's my knowing, and I share that with you. You receive it or you don't. You choose to do what you want with it. But eternally, our soul, our spirit, whatever language you want to use, is safe. There is nothing that can happen on this planet, on this earth school, during this experience that can impact that. We are indestructible. We are eternal. And so when we start to really tap in and access that part of us, our true us, then we have this anchoring of inner peace and knowingness that gives us the capacity to go out and to take more risks, have more fun, push out a little bit, push around the boundaries a little bit, jump out of your comfort zone a little bit, knowing that ultimately we will be safe. Okay, so another way to inner peace is through inner work. So I've spoken about this, but the greatest gift that we can give our brothers and sisters on this planet, and that's how I refer to everyone because that's how I see you. I don't know you, some of you, I know some of you I don't, I've never met some of you, but I can tell you right now, you are my sister. You are my sister, and there's nothing that can change that because we are all here experiencing an incarnation and a divine aspect manifesting itself in a physical form to learn and to become conscious of itself within this physical form. So balancing that human life part, but whilst also accessing our divinity and living from that spirit, living from the spirit outwards. The most compassionate thing we can do, the best thing we can each do to raise the vibration of this planet, to wake up, and we are having a massive wake up call globally right now, is to do the inner work on ourselves. And if everyone invested and that spent their time, rather than hiding from this stuff and just distracting ourselves with all of the other stuff around us, all the shiny balls, all the Netflix, all the social media, all the, you know, trying to attain this thing or achieve this and all that stuff, and actually just did the internal work to bring ourselves awake to our truth, then we would start to be able to create a heaven on earth. If everyone suddenly woke up and realized we were brothers and sisters, imagine what we could create on this planet. So the inner work helps us to access, as I've spoken about, this inner peace, infinite joy that is available to us at all times, that nothing externally on this planet can come close to reaching or feeling like. Remembering that we are this pure joy. And as I said, once we have that sense, that real deep security, that real sense of a deep security that everything is going to be fine, everything will be fine, no matter what the ups and downs and the ins and the outs, then we have that capacity to actually love deeply and not be having to protect ourselves and defend ourselves and be all concerned about all this human ego stuff. But in terms of that inner work, every single one of us plays a role on this planet for the waking up of this planet, and no one is more important than anyone else in terms of the tapestry of our matrix and our universe. Everyone has this role of waking up and connecting in with and plugging in and turning that light on inside to start to shine that out and to connect with your gifts, because we all have particular things that are gifts for each of us during this journey, as well as all of our support crew. I've done other talks in this group about connecting with your guardian angels and your guides and all of those things as well. You've got your support crew. You are not here alone on this planet. So when we start to do that inner work, we start to realize that, oh my gosh, everyone is love, everyone is divinity, and we are all one, and we start to recognize and see that. And I clearly remember when like life changed for me. Like when I first discovered I was a channeler, I was hanging out the washing and suddenly a voice starts talking to me, using my voice, talking about all things about energy and many things. And I remember it was like the way I looked at the world before that experience, and then the way I look at the world after that experience, where I've got that deep knowing and deep understanding. So how do we do the work, the inner work? So obvious, meditation, stillness, through breath work. My guides, one particular guide, just cannot emphasize enough the power of our breath to connect us to our divinity. So through the breath, through breath work, through also just cultivating the awe that you see in the world, this incredible world that we have that's made up of just so many magnificent things, like rainbows and the fact that we are on a planet that is spinning around. It's just crazy. So anytime you have that divinity, that knowing, that experience within you, where you see a sunset, you're on a beach, you're in nature, a child's laughing, a child's playing, whatever that is, connecting with that little spark in you and then tending to that spark, and taking practice and building up that part in yourselves. So the key is really not to associate ourselves as being completely human, because if we do that, we feel run down and exhausted because we are limited in our resources as a human, right? We've only got a limited amount of energy if we see ourselves just as this fallible human. But when we start to connect with that divinity, there's like an excess, an abundance of energy that's available. But on the other hand, we've got to be careful not to connect too much with just the divinity, because we are on this planet and we are in a real world, physical, like a physical world, and there are certain laws that exist on this third dimensional planet. So if we get too much connected to just the divinity, then we're not able to just actually be in the real world and to relate and to resonate. So it's kind of like this little dance between being our human selves, not attaching too much to our ego, but also connecting in with that divinity within ourselves. So another way to inner peace is through being aware of the power of perspective. So there are so many different ways that we can look at different things, different situations, and I'm sure you will have experienced this, you will have seen this, where two people go through exactly the same experience and they have very, very different interpretations of that experience. So when we see things so deeply and attached through that lens of our human ego, our human mind, we can feel the burdens of life heavily, the worries and the stress, and we can really buy into all of that. And that takes us away from inner peace. So when we are able to associate more with our divinity, what I like to do is if I'm really in the thick of it, I'm in a really stressful situation and I'm struggling with something, I like to imagine myself looking back on this situation when I've crossed over, when I've passed over, when I've gone home, and looking back and trying to bring that higher lens of meaning to what's going on now. What's the gift I'm not seeing in this? How will I see this through how does my higher self see this? Will this matter in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Like just starting to be really conscious that we are the commanders and the controllers of how we interpret our events, and our thoughts are powerful, very powerful. And really the way that we experience the outer world is very much a reflection of our inner world. So doing that work inside. Another way I would suggest to inner peace is to actually delve into your fears. So we all have fears. I'm sure you have fears. We have fears of things that, we're scared that might happen on this planet. We see around us so many things that can be fearful and can create fear and can make us feel scared. People getting illnesses, people dying and things like that. And many of these things, we think if these things happened, that it would just be unbearable. We couldn't possibly get through whatever it is that's, one of your greatest fears. But what I want to remind you of, and for you to remember within yourself, is that you, from your true level, from your ultimate level, you can get through all of it. You can get through absolutely everything that is going to come your way on this planet. So another way, I could go on and on about fears, but I'm going to drop that. Another way to inner peace is through cultivating kindness, compassion, love for oneself and for others. So there's frequencies of energy, and different emotions and feelings vibrate higher. So compassion and gratitude, they are a higher frequency compared to blame and apathy and hate, and they're like a dense frequency. So whatever work needs to be done to fully and completely love and accept and adore yourself, do it. Go find it. Because once we're able to tap into this true part of us, which is pure love, all of the other stuff that we can get caught up with on this planet really starts to fall away. And I'll take you through some of those things that get us distracted from the magnificence that is really you, and the negative self-talk. So be your best friend, be your biggest cheerleader. Talk to yourself with grace and compassion like you would talk to someone you love. And really just practicing kindness and gratitude as much as we can. And that's another way really to inner peace, is through that surrender and appreciation, rather than trying to control things. As humans, we've got a great tendency to try and control all of the external things that are happening, and just like if we control that and we preempt that, and if we do that and we just control, just constantly like trying to control everything, because we think, oh my god, if one thing drops, like the whole house of cards is going to fall down. Do you relate to that? So often we can be trying to control, and it's exhausting. I know, I've tried that way. And what is liberating is when we just go, do you know what? Okay, who am I to actually try and control all of these things in this one little incarnation? Yes, we are these magnificent spirits, but as I read recently, it's like, Alicia, do you control the sun rising every morning and setting? Do you control the gravitational pull of our oceans connecting to the moon? Like, you know what? This is in hand. This is already being organized. Like, for us to think we have to control every little bit around us, just surrender in. Surrender, and just appreciate what we've got. Focus on what we've got, not on what we don't have. And a gratitude journal is a beautiful way to really ensure of an evening that we start to acknowledge and appreciate those things that we are grateful for. Okay, so I'm now going to take you through a few things before we finish, things that are not the path to inner peace. And one of those things is expectations. Expectations will not bring you inner peace, in my experience. So what happens is this interesting thing, we're born and we create kind of all these guidelines for ourselves and these ways of being, and we think that is right and that is wrong, and this is how you do that and this is not how you do that, and all of this stuff that we've been conditioned growing up. We create this set of unconscious beliefs, and we create them not only for ourselves, but we create them for the people that we surround ourselves with. So we create certain views on how other people should do certain things, and we create these rules for other people of how we think they should talk and how they should act and all of those things. But the interesting thing is, these other people don't know that we've created these rules for them, and they don't realize that we're expecting them to act this certain way. And so lo and behold, when they don't meet our expectations, the rules that we've placed on them, which they don't even know that we've placed on them, then we get disappointed, right? We get frustrated, we get angry. It's like, why are you doing that? Or we've done that again, or all this kind of stuff that goes on. So what personally I've found works really well on the path for inner peace is really to have very little expectations of anyone, and really that yearning for other people to be something other than maybe they are. We're actually not even allowing them, we're not even allowing ourselves to see how they are and the beauty of the things that maybe they're doing that maybe we don't like, but we're not even seeing that because we're so caught up in our own expectations. So just remember that everyone is their own sovereign being, and they have entitlements and the right to choose how they act and how they are in the world. And I know this gets a little bit tricky when we're parenting, but it's really liberating just to kind of let other people be themselves and be really curious. Just be curious and talk to people like they are the most magnificent human being that you've ever seen. I'm just like going for it. So I'm just going to drink my darlings. Oh, so good. Okay, so we have the expectations we place on other people. It's again, this is us. We're creating this whole fabric of craziness by putting these expectations out. And so we then bring forth this anger and blame, and you know, as parents, it can be really hard. So, you know, we have certain expectations that we say, like a basic requirements, I guess, to be a human and treat people nicely and all of those things. And our kids don't always do that. They don't always follow the rules, right? But as best we can, to just love them, to model good behavior and being a good human, but also without squashing their spirit and without squashing their uniqueness and their gifts, because what they are in now, particularly when they're little, they are in that pure innocence and that pure joy before they kind of get beaten down and conditioned by our society. So really allowing them to feel their emotions, and that it's okay to be angry, and we're not squashing them all down and pushing that stuff down, to help them to know that that's okay. They are fine. It's normal for them to be experiencing those kind of things, and also for us to be conscious that we are not trying to gain some kind of recognition or some attachment to our kid, that the way that they are in the world somehow feeds our own stuff. So the more we do the inner work, the more we are at peace with our own stuff, even our messy crap stuff, that we don't need the other people around us to kind of fill those voids, if that makes sense. So being really conscious that our children, we allow them to just unfold as they already are, rather than us also trying to vicariously kind of meet our unmet needs through them as well. Having said all of that, there is definitely a place, obviously, for boundaries and for things like that. And I have done another talk in this group on energetic boundaries as well. So another way to inner peace is dropping judgment. So again, this all comes back to vibrations and energy, like the compassion, love, gratitude, joy, and the expectations and judgment and blame and anger and all that jazz moves us away from our divinity, separates us from each other. So when we go into this space of judging other people, that immediately separates our unity. It divides us. It strips away that common goal that we have of that interconnectedness of everything that is on this planet. And when we see something in someone else that maybe triggers us, it could be a number of things. It could be that there's actually a part of us that yearns for that. So rather than judging that, bringing the awareness, like, why has that pissed me off? Like, what is it that's triggered me there? Because it's not about that person. It's about the reflection back into ourselves. Is it something that they've had the courage to go out and do that I haven't? And that's what's pissed me off, because it's like hit against something within me. Is it that there's something in them that I'm denying in me? Is it that they are, whatever it is, maybe there's someone who's expressing their anger and you're not. And so then that annoys you. How dare they? It's like, but you've got all this suppressed anger maybe that hasn't been allowed to be exploded out. Or on the other side, it can be that someone is looking like all rainbows and fairies and loving and things like that, and that hits up against something within us, because perhaps again we're denying that aspect of lovingness to ourselves, and we're holding that back from ourselves. So at the ultimate level, we are all one. I understand my knowing may not sit with how you see things, but is that we are all this one connected energy. And so when we actually judge someone else, we are actually just judging our own self as this part of this energy. And maybe if I explain it another way, because it's hard to kind of really conceptualize that, but if you see someone doing something that you don't approve of, then what's happening is then you're bringing that resonance into your own your own frequency. Your own frequency. So then, for example, you're feeling some resentment towards someone, for example. So then that resonancy is created and tuned in our own frequency. So then we are just bringing that into ourselves. We are just judging our own self and having that kind of poison sit in ourselves. We're like the first victim of our judgment. But also we do emit energy frequencies out. So it's also not helpful for the other person as well. And I love this line from a book called Three Women, where the author said, never judge a woman unless you have walked through her fires. And it was just so powerful, and it like really hit me, because none of us really knows what's going on in the other person's life, no matter how close you are to that person. We never really know the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs and what people are grappling with. So for us to then throw judgments at other people from our own kind of lens of the world, our own perspective, our own upbringing, whatever it is, it's just not really, careful with my language as well, it's not kind. It's not kind. And also, who's to say that we would not act in exactly the same way as that person whom we are perhaps judging if we had walked their life on this human journey every step of the way? We'd had exactly the same experiences, exactly the same upbringing, all those things. Potentially we would do exactly what they are doing. They know not what they do, having that separation that has happened. So last few things before I wrap up. So another thing that is not on your way to inner peace is comparison. Be uniquely you, be in your lane, on your path, claim sovereignty over your life, own your life, make choices aligned with you, things that uplift you, move you away from things that deplete you. Make those decisions for yourself. Move away from guilt and worry, and I know it's easier said than done. Often we worry about things that will never happen, and even if they do happen, we probably will be equipped to deal with them. And guilt, like, just ask yourself when we're starting to feel guilty, like if it's a mum guilt thing, like, is it true? Is it true that actually I'm being a bad mum right now, or that I am a bad mum because I'm whatever it is that we're doing? No, most likely it's not. You'd be an amazing mum, because this is what we do in the world. We love our kids as much as we can. So claim your life, your radiance, your magnificence, connect in, plug in if it's not already plugged in, and hopefully it already is. Hopefully you're already plugged in, you're already connected to this inner peace and able to just ride through the waves of life a little bit easier. Not to say that things aren't still stressful when we're tapping into this part of ourselves, for sure. Everything's up and down and in and out, all of those things. But when we turn that light on, we connect with that inner part of ourselves, that divinity, we're connecting with our highest power. We are then out in the world in our highest power. We as women are portals of life. We are portals of life. We bring life out into the world. And when we've got that connected, that inner light within us, we can shine it outwards to everyone we meet. And ultimately, which is my mission, is to raise the vibration of this planet. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. In summary, cultivate the divinity within you. Self-love, forgiveness, compassion, appreciation, acknowledgement, awareness. And try and step away from and drop expectations, comparison, guilt, worry, all of that stuff, all of that BS that just can bring us down and undo us and deplete us. I hope this has been of assistance in some way, shape or form to you tonight. Thank you for so many of you jumping on live. I'm really grateful that you've spent the time with me tonight, and thanks to those of you who watch the replay. If you watch the replay, put a little hashtag replay so that I know that you're jumping in to watch the replay. Thank you, beautifuls. I will, if you've got any questions, you can pop them in the comments, and if I haven't, and I can get back to them later. If you want to work it all with me more, I do one-on-ones. I'm doing energy healings. One of my guides does pretty epic energy healings. Also do energy coaching, relationship coaching, spiritual coaching. And I do a channeled class, 6 a.m. Melbourne time, Monday mornings, called the Soul Class, which is all around helping us increase our energy vibration each week, which is channeled Qigong breathing exercises and also some sound healing and working with the chakras and things like that. So I can pop my website in and information about that if anyone's interested. Thank you so much for all being part of this amazing group. Thank you for your beautiful comments. Take good care and just go out there and love yourself and love others. Mwah! Thanks, beautiful angels. Love, Leash.